Video Fearless fam, question for you, this is an important one. Is it better to shoot indoors or outdoors? Have you wondered that yourself? I'm going to share that and some other important information that you need to know before you start shooting right now. Amani Channel, this is Video Fearless, where I help business owners build video muscle. That means that I help business owners, service owners. Amani Channel, this is Video Fearless, where I help service-based business owners attract leads and clients with video marketing, even if they're terrified to make videos, if they understand the tech, if they're a little bit camera shy. You know, you want to build your following, you got to build your audience, you got to build your credibility and your authority. So this is where I talk about all things related to that. Alright, so before I get into this video, I'm going to share some awesome tips in terms of shooting indoors or outdoors. I'm going to get into it in just a second. But before I do that, please hit the thumbs up or like button, or hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can make sure you get all the videos in this series and all future videos that I create as soon as I make them, because I'm sharing daily, if not weekly, tips to help you become camera confident, video fearless to video market. Alright, so is it better to shoot indoors or outdoors? What's better? What do you think? Well, this is just how I think about it. Where do you have the most control of everything? For me personally, I have the most control indoors in my home office, in my home studio. All right, I can control the lighting, I can control the audio. How do I do that? I do that with a light. I have an LED light right in front of me. I have a window that I can open or close depending upon how the lighting is. It's a pretty overcast day today, so it's not an issue. I have some colorful lights behind me to add some accents. So those are all things that I can control. If I was shooting outdoors, it wouldn't be so much. But remember, you want to control as much as you can. I do, at least. Now, for me, I do feel like there's some creativity and some other things that are involved in shooting outdoors, but there are also some important things to think about. So let's go outdoors so you can sort of get an understanding of what it takes to shoot an outdoor shoot. All right, so now we're out in nature, right? I'm on the deck, I'm in the back of my house. Now, this is the thing. I can't control anything, so maybe you hear a little bit more wind noise. It's a little bit of it's a little blustery. I'm gonna talk about some little hacks you can use to improve your audio quality. You can also see there's some trees behind me, which is kind of scenic. I like trees, so that's all good. Now the thing is that that's kind of backlit, right? The sky is like it's kind of an overcast day, and the clouds behind me are kind of blown out. So you sort of see my finger disappearing in the sky. That's because the background is blown out. And I really can't control that because that's the way it is. Like, that's how the shot is. I can sort of change the angle perhaps, but that's the way the shot is. The other thing I can't control is the sun. And so the sun's actually, this is not ideal because I was playing around with it, and I was like shooting this way. I was like, maybe I'll shoot this way, but I really didn't like the house behind me. But the sun is like right there, but it's behind some clouds right now, so that's not so bad. All right, so then I was like, well, let me play around with this look right here. All right, so that's about where we are right now. Now the sun's coming out, right? So now you can see the lighting's changing, which is another distraction. That's another negative thing about shooting outside, is that you don't have any control over the elements. All right, so what can you do if you don't want that background noise? And there's nothing you can do about the sun right now, so it is what it is. So this is a little hack. If you have your earbuds, use your earbuds as a microphone, all right? So I can plug them in here. All right, there you go. Now I'm gonna hold them just below I'm gonna hold them out of the frame so you can't really see them, but hopefully I sound much better now. I sound a little bit clearer now. You don't hear that background noise. So you can use your earbuds as a microphone. Make sure if you have your smartphone, of course, you can use your earbuds as a microphone. Like when you're doing it, just test and see if you can make a phone call and if people can hear you with your earbuds if you want to test it. All right, but you want to use your get either a mobile microphone or use your earbuds as a microphone, and that will help your audio tremendously. Because remember, you want to control as much as you can. Now, for me right now, I can't control the sun. I can sort of control the angle that I'm shooting at. Perhaps if I was shooting in front of the house, it might be a better scene. But I like kind of this background, etc. And once again, you can see the sun's coming out now from behind the clouds. And that's the negative part about shooting outdoors. You can't control the sun, and the sun can cast harsh shadows. So let me swing this around here. All right, so this is ideally, if you're shooting outdoors, you want to have the sun, use it as a light source. So you don't want the sun behind you. You want to use it as a light source. And so that's why I switched the shot around, because now the sun's from behind the clouds. And actually I wanted to face Really, I'd want it to face this way if I really wanted to. But I don't like I said, I don't want to see my house in the background. That's why I had it the other way. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, all right? So there's just some things to think about, right? Controlling the sun. Of course, my glasses are now darkening because the sun's out. The audio, you want to use a microphone or use a earbud for your microphone. But you might find the thoughts coming to you freely. You might find that the thoughts coming to you, you're just a little more inspired when you're outdoors. It just really depends. All right, those are some things to think about, though, when it comes to shooting. Are you going to shoot indoors or outdoors? Let's take it back inside now. Okay, so remember, when you're indoors, you have control over the lighting, the audio, and the background, which I'm going to get to in just a second. When you're outdoors, you may want to use a microphone. You should use a microphone. I mean, I'm even using a microphone right now. You should definitely use a microphone. You got to watch the lighting. You got to watch the sunlight. You got to make sure that you can control whatever you can't really control when you're shooting outdoors. But being outdoors might be better for the creativity. You might feel more peaceful. The thoughts might flow to you in a different kind of way than shooting indoors. Those are things that you have to figure out. All right, but it's important also to think about your background or set. And maybe you already got that. Like for me, this background, the way I have my home office situated, the way I have the camera at an angle, I really like this because I have one desk here. You see the corner of my speaker. There's a mic stand and headphones here. There's another computer monitor over here. It kind of represents that video theme of Video Fearless. So you have to think about how can your visuals, how can your background or set reflect your brand? How can you have that subliminal kind of background branding in your shots, all right? Also, you have to think about the clutter. Now, to be honest, my office, my wife just got on my case because she's like, you need to clean this office. But I don't have to clean this corner because this corner looks pretty clean. But you do want to make sure that you don't have a bunch of clutter behind you. You want to make sure it's free from clutter because that will be distracting. If I had like a tissue box or my asthma pump, if you see something behind me like that, you might be like, what's that behind the money? I can't really see it. It's out of focus, but it might take your attention away from my message, which would not be ideal because you want 100% of your audience to be engaged with the content that you're sharing because that's how you're going to hook them in. That's how you're going to continue to provide that interest and that value to your audience is if they're completely focused on what you're saying, on the words coming out of your mouth. All right. So make sure your background is free from clutter and make sure it's not distracting. Also, I'm going to touch really quickly on my appearance. You want to make sure that if you're a female, you may want to put some makeup on a little bit. You don't have to like be Kardashian or nothing like that, but you want to represent yourself. You want to be your best self on camera. So it might mean combing your hair, fixing your hair a little bit. You don't have to go to the hair salon or nothing like that, unless that's a weekly part of your routine. You want to record your videos right after that, that's fine. But you don't have to like go to the hair salon. If you're a male, you may want to trim up the facials, like I probably am due for a trim up, but it's all good. And then as far as wardrobe, you want to wear some clothing that represents you. You want to wear clothing that you're comfortable in, but also doesn't take away from your professionalism. So some days I might be a little more dressed than I am today. It's kind of casual. I'm wearing my Oakland A's pullover, but it's all good, right? I mean, the thing that I would watch for is the color of my shirt. So you want to wear colored shirts generally. Personally, I would avoid like white shirts, like all white, like dress shirts, button-down shirts, anything that's really bright because the camera will have to contrast because I'm kind of dark complected, so it'll have to adjust for the contrast between the light and the dark. So I tend to wear clothing that has color to it, that might be a little darker in shade, etc. Solids are always good. Pastels are great. You want to avoid patterns, like tight patterns, because that will cause a shimmery effect, like your clothes look like they're waving. It's an effect called moire that you want to avoid. All right, but those are some basic advice. But once again, if you're like a fitness trainer, you want to wear some workout clothes, right? You might want to be in the gym or be in your home gym or have a workout mat underneath you, something the audience can see. If you're a medical professional, you might want to have like a lab coat. You might want to have some medical books, something to sort of stage the background and say, this is what I do, this is what I'm an expert in, just to add that branding, that visual branding to reinforce your branding, all right? Is that clear? All right, so what are we thinking? We're thinking about our background. Are we shooting indoors? Are we shooting outdoors? What is our background or set going to be? What are we going to wear? How are we going to look? How are we going to represent ourselves in the best light? Because if you feel good, that's going to add to the confidence that you look and sound good on camera. And that's all I want is for you to become video fearless. All right, Amani Channel. And if this is really helpful, I have a free download. If you check the link in the description, it's not a download. It's a link to a free 30 to 45 minute video strategy call that we'll have. If you're interested, I have limited spaces in my calendar, so please click the link, schedule a video, strategy call if you're interested. We'll talk about your challenges. I'll share some tips and some things that I do to help my clients become super successful in a super short amount of time, and maybe we'll work together if things work out. All right, but that's it for now. Make sure that you like, subscribe if you want to get all the videos in this series and get all the other updates that I provide regularly. Amani Channel. I'll talk to you soon. Did I say my name already? Probably 3 or 4 times. It's all good. What's my name? Amani Channel. Peace.